Hey everyone, serotonin. Um, we're going to Coney Island. So the other day I was doing some, collage art at the local art gallery, as you do, and I happened upon a book of architecture, and in it I came across this incredible photo of Luna Park. Um, It was probably about this size, and immediately, I mean, first of all, okay, so the lights, first thing, looked to me like the Chicago World Fair. Then you see all these, onion dome things, the stripes that you see in Moscow, in these patterns here, they look like the Rosicrucian flowers on the churches. I mean, just it was like Tartaria, Tartaria, Tartaria. My alarm bells are going off. Here is the most recent picture I found of when I googled Luna Park illuminated tower, and just look at that. I mean, this was a fairground. This was Coney Island. This is where like you went to go have fun. Now I know we've seen places like Disney, looks pretty cool, whatever, okay. This was circa 1903, I think, was when it was supposed to have been built. And all I'm seeing is all the world fairs. Just it's the same stuff all over again. It's all the same architecture, it's all the same cities, it's all the same look. It's the way things were. The same lights. Okay. So we're going to go to Wiki, as we do, for the narrative. So, of course, they have a new Luna Park, Coney Island 2010. And I'm sure it sucks donkeys. Okay, but yeah, 1903, built on the grounds of Sea Lion Park. I have all this stuff pulled up for us to have a quick look at, except for Sea Lion Park, which we'll check out in just a minute. And it was one of the three original iconic large parks built on Coney Island, the other two being Steeplechase. We're going to have a look at that, and Dreamland. And we're also going to have a look at that. Luna Park was located on the north side of Surf Avenue on a site between 8th Street, 12th Street, and Neptune Avenue. And the park was mostly destroyed by a fire in 1944, as they do. So, in 1901, the creators, Frederick Thompson and Elmer Skip Dundee, had created a wildly successful ride called A Trip to the Moon. So they did another one called A Trip to Mars in this one. The conglomerate here, Okay, so at the end of 1902, Thompson and Dundee signed a long-term lease for Paul Boynton Sea Lion Park. And it had been the first large-scale enclosed park at Coney Island had opened 7 years before. So they just kind of apparently built on top of this other one. And here it is apparently under construction in 1903. And here we go again. So then Dreamland opened up. Of course, it says Steeplechase was already going at this point, and they had tried to work together, but that really didn't happen. A pair of fires in 1944. And I'm going to actually be talking a lot more about pairs of fires. I have a theory that, and I can't remember if I've already talked about this, because I talk about this all the time with my husband, that multiple fires in a place, to me, in my opinion, denotes grandeur. Like this was a big place. This was a very important city. And I have no doubt Coney Island was probably a city, and they just kind of, I think they just may have turned it into a fairground. I don't know. Or maybe it was just, the Tartarian fairground. So here we have a list of the rides and attractions, and we have some pretty incredible pictures of some of them. Shoot the Chutes is pretty incredible. The Helter Skelter is quite beautiful. And I believe we've seen this in some of my other videos before. I thought this was part of the Paris World Fair, excuse me. But yeah, some pretty interesting stuff and lots of rides. And then when it was talked about in various, popular culture. Good old dark roasted blend, of course, just happened to have a whole thing on Luna Park after I had come across these pictures, or this one picture, I should say. So here's a great article, historylink.org. I would highly recommend you check this out for probably a slightly more balanced view than Wiki's going to give you anyway. Some great little pictures down there. These seem to be all postcards. And some of these rides are just outrageous. The giant whirl. You don't see a lot of these. Oops, I'm so sorry for that. And incredible buildings, of course. But yeah, it's a nice small one. Short little article. And I came across this, which is a pretty odd little film. All things said, the first 47 minutes is just a couple eating like hot dogs and whatnot in a really disgusting way. So I don't recommend you watching that part. But I'm going to play this. I'm going to do the sound off because I do tend not to do very well with the sound on in the OBS, and I will enlarge this. There's a couple of comments that they loved how the grown-ups were so childlike. I'm like, yeah. They're probably all actors, actually, in this movie. It was a little short of some kind of comedic thing. Oh, there you go, some of the Luna rides in action. Luna Park, I should say. Luna Park rides. And I have no doubt, I mean, the wigs on these people, the matching hats, right? They're totally hamming this up. But I'm definitely getting a similar feeling from, looking at the world fairs. I mean, were they all just these incredible theme parks? Anyway, let's have a look at what Dark Roasted Blend has here for Coney Island. This is mostly, Luna Park. Just going to go a little slower here. So the name of the article is Phantasmagorical Coney Island, City of Fire. And I believe it's under history, and I'm not entirely sure if it would be under anything else. Perhaps architecture? I'm not entirely sure, but I will leave the links in the description box. And we'll see a couple more of these rides or similar ones on some of the other parts of Coney Island. But they're they're just incredible stuff. And some are postcards, so these are colorized black and white photos, is essentially what these postcards are. Sorry, I did not mean to push that then. And these would be more postcards. Doesn't this remind you so much of the Crystal Palaces, right? And then you have these sort of Tesla Tower things looking there. And again, you know, Russia, 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 Russia. We actually had a store in Toronto that had two of these almost exact looking replica of these big circles here. They were records for Sam the Record Man on Yonge Street. It's just kind of a bit odd seeing that. And perhaps this would be the main grid. So this blows my mind. This was like a huge steel, like metal elephant. And it's incredible. So this is it standing next to, or with a, you know, to scale a real adult elephant. And it's got all these ways, you know, big, huge room. So many little stairs and windows to look out. And this was a thing. This was a ride. You guys get to the top and you sit there. I mean, how incredible is that? Can probably look out the eyes. I would love to go in that, even now. So this is the steeplechase. This will be shown on the steeplechase part later on in the video, a little bit more of this. This is this ride where you like sit on this mechanical horse and it goes around this monorail, basically, around a track. And I don't know how you make it go faster or anything. You'd have to ask your grandparents for that. Just amazing. And there's a pretty awesome looking roller coaster, you know, not bad. And this one, I mean, at Canada's Wonderland, we have something called the Bat that's basically this. It's just like a loop-de-loop over and over again. Nothing new under the sun is there. It's wild. I mean, amazing. And look at that. Again, some more, you know, Antiquitex and receptors there. I guess that would be powering itself and possibly other parts of the park. And that's the circus sideshow. And this is more of Luna Park there. Can't see, can't really tell what the ride is, or if that's just a place for people to sit. And here's a, you know, like a brochure or what have you. It's like a silly little picture of a day there. And our elegant illuminated tower. It's so beautiful. Some more colorized black and whites. I don't even know what to say about the color on that one. I believe this one is Dreamland here. Detailed panorama. That's not what that is. No, and neither is that. Sorry, guys. No, I know I've seen these towers before in other people's videos. You know. Do you think they built the attractions around some of the buildings to make sense of them? to essentially hide them, and then people were still like, wow, I don't know, this place is amazing. No, I don't know what to say about this. Infant incubators with living infants just turns my stomach and boggles the mind. Like, what is going on there? I'm like, this, what's that? But seriously, what the F is that? I don't even know what to say. Were there infants in there in incubators at Coney Island? I don't know what to say. Postcard depicting the fire. I'm not going to go here, but there's walls of death in amusement parks. No, thank you. And then world's strangest theme parks. And my goodness, do they have a collection of odd and disturbing theme parks on this channel. I mean, website. So I will allow you to check that out if you feel like it. Okay, so steeplechase. First, let's look at steeplechase, actually. So this was the main ride, obviously there, the steeplechase. Here are some more pieces of it. So you've got this tilt-a-whirl thing, or whatever they're called, and Ferris wheel, of course, and I don't know what that thing is. Let's see, this is a pretty crazy picture. Oh. Donald Trump's father demolished Coney Island's beloved steeplechase. Oh, did he? How very interesting. Well, well, well. I am going to take that and have a look into it. Let's keep going. Oh, okay, I'm just going to keep coming up with that. Look at this. Swimming pool. I mean, my God. There is so much going on. Oh, is that the elephant there now? They had their own elephant. I mean, come on, guys. Doesn't this look exactly like, you know, one of the, well, one of the Crystal Palaces? And I guess this is it. And this. So fascinating. And, you know, I've heard about Coney Island, of course, in many things in literature. And, you know, I'm not discounting the modern Coney Island of today, but I mean to say, like, the historical significance of Coney Island. And I never really understood because, you know, I had no idea. I guess I wasn't interested and I'd never seen the pictures. And is this them just covering up this grandeur? Like, what is actually happening here in these places? Okay. Steeplechase was an amusement park on the Coney Island area of Brooklyn, New York, created by George C. Tillieu in between 1862 and 1914. And it operated from 1897 to 1964. So it was created. Oh no, George Tillieu was, is that his? Okay. No, I guess this was, they're saying this was when it was made. I'm having a hard time understanding that statement. Okay. I'm going to keep going because I don't want to get caught up on that. I'm trying to figure out if this is his age or if this is how long it took them to build it. Sorry, guys. So they're saying 1862 to 1914. And that's what they're saying. Okay, so they're not telling us when it opened. It operated from 1897 to 1964. I'm glad I took the time to do that. Okay. So the other two were 1903, Luna Park, and Dreamland in 1904. Okay, so I'm thinking what happened probably is they discovered the place, they turned it into, they didn't know what else to do with it, so they just turned it into an amusement place, an amusement park, and then they, over time, had to release the other parts of the area into this as well. So this is kind of what's happening here. Steeplechase was Coney Island's longest lasting park. Unlike Dreamland, which burned in a fire in 1911, and Luna Park, which also burned in a fire in 1944, Steeplechase was destroyed apparently by Donald Trump's father. But it did burn during the season. During the 1907 season. Steeplechase burned during the 1907 season. The season of burning, that burning season, like I don't know, I don't understand it. Destroying most of the park. Man. The park was rebuilt for the 1908 season. And although the new park, I guess it was, only in the summer. Okay. The park was not fully open again until 1909, which now included a pavilion of fun. An indoor enclosure covered by steel and glass that covered 5 acres. Wow. Okay. So interesting stuff happening there. There's the parachute jump. I'm not going to get too much into the downfall enclosure. I'm just sure that they just kind of, after the fires, they would, like it was development and they probably let it go into disrepair and, sold it to the city. Like it's, we'll get into that. I'm more interested in figuring out why they why it's so grand. It's pretty incredible. Interesting. Here's the whole bit about Trump, Fred Trump. Okay, I'm going to keep going because I haven't prepared for this part of the information. And I'm definitely very interested in that. Anyway, there's Steeplechase. And here's Dreamland Amusement Park. So again, another huge tower. And weren't there 3 in that one video? I wish I could remember who it was by. If I remember, I'll put it into the description box. But have a look at, this is Dreamland. Isn't this exactly like the Chicago World Fair? Now this is garbage, right? Like these faces, yeah, sure. It's done with that staff business or, definitely not Codestone. I think Codestone's probably too nice for that. But, bits and pieces are slapped together and tacked on to make it look a certain way. Oh dear. But this, right? They don't know what to do with that. So they turned it into an amusement park, which is pretty much what the World Fairs were. Except these were short ones. They decided to speed it all up. But they just, I mean, maybe they did, I don't know, maybe they wanted to have a bit of fun with these ones. Enjoy themselves for a little bit before they blew it up. Anyway, Dreamland, again, opened from 1904 to 1911. 7 glorious years. It was clearly meant to last much longer, but alas, it happened to catch on fire. Purely an accident, I'm sure. We'll have another quick look at Dreamland. Shoot the Chutes. I think that's the one we just saw when the people were coming out on there on the boat. And there's one of those old wheels that they took off the big old boats that could just chug along, carrying 4,000 passengers across the ocean and never ever having to stop once to refuel. Well, they couldn't have those around anymore. So they decided to deconstruct them by turning again their parts into amusement pieces. And what better way to amuse a bunch of orphans that you stole but to, you know, amuse them with the demise of their own forefathers' creations. What child doesn't love to pull things apart and play with them until they realize, oh dear, I can't get that back together again? But they weren't the ones doing this. No, they were being guided to take things apart. Right? And here we are. And there. 1911. That's really creepy looking. Anyway, guys, it's been long enough. I'm sure this video should end here. See, there you go. There's the next Ferris wheel. I hope you enjoyed this. I do want to definitely encourage you to check all this stuff out. I'm going to put all the links below. And have yourselves a great night. God bless and stay warm.